look, I know that the time difference is like a thing. We'll figure it out eventually. Sorry I'm a little late. I just had stuff to do, and I appreciate you waiting up for me. You know what I mean? Like I know it's late over there, but this is the quickest I could get done what I was doing, and I know that we had a call scheduled for a couple minutes ago, but please don't be mad. It's the hoop. It's the hatening. Talking about long distance dating today. And I kind of have touched on this before, I think, like with online stuff, like online dating, But I have I have like some experience. I would say maybe a decent amount of experience with long distance dating. And not anytime really recently, but like, back in the day, like high school and college, I definitely like was more social online than I was in person, and thus like was talking to a lot of people from far away. And also it, just the fact that I was kind of bi-coastal, I guess. I don't know. That sounds very fucking douchey, but like, as from Maryland, I went to school in Washington State. And then through the band, I traveled the country a lot and met a lot of people, and, I'm girl crazy or whatever. So, but like, I've had a few like long distance relationships, and they're fucking tough. Like they really are tough. And I feel like it's only gotten easier to have them just because of the internet and just like how, like how easy it is to date people online and all that shit. And you can go back and listen to the online dating episode if you really want to hear my thoughts on that. Like I'm not going to try and have too much overlap, but like just the idea and like the concept of like dating someone who doesn't live near you, it's fucking crazy, and it's fucking tough. And I mean, like, if you want to be honest, like, a long distance relationship can legit be like, there's no like real fucking limit to how far away that is. So like, if you guys live in different towns, like I would call that long distance. You know what I mean? Like if it's more than like, like fucking 45 minutes or whatever, like, yeah, sure. That's a long distance relationship, because it's not like, hey, I'm going to come over. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like you guys aren't in the same fucking place, basically. And so like I've dated people from other states, and like they had some decent longevity, and there definitely are like things that you can do to like, keep things fun and interesting and cool, but it's a lot of fucking work. You know what I mean? And I don't want this to be like super anecdotal, but like I look back at like some of the relationships that I've had with people, and like just all the stuff that we would have to do to like make it work. Like, because I was, sometimes I was on the other side of the country, or like, I guess that like having a partner while you're on tour, it could be a long distance thing, but not really, but it's still kind of like the same principles of like, you have to put in a lot of effort, to make a long distance relationship work, to make a relationship work where you guys aren't physically there. And by that, I mean, like, you have to plan time for each other, and you have to make every moment count, because you don't have a lot of moments. But you also really have to like tread lightly on a lot of stuff, because there's nothing worse, than getting into a fight with someone like in a long distance thing. I'm sorry that sentence kind of fell apart as it was leaving my mouth. But like, yeah, there's like a bunch of memories are just like coming back now of like shit I've had to deal with and shit I've done and all that stuff, but like, it's just like, it's hard to do a long distance thing. And I really do applaud people who can do it successfully. And I know a lot of people who are and have, you know what I mean? Like I know people who've gotten married and had kids and started families and all that bullshit from like long distance stuff. Like, and sometimes it was like way back in the day before like the internet was really a big player in the game, but also like obviously like now, like in more recent times, like it's all over the fucking internet. But like I remember when like it wasn't really like that, and it was all like through phone calls and like texting and shit. And like I have done that. I did that for a long time, like, on and off, obviously. But like, like if you're dating someone and they don't live near you, and there's this feeling that I would get, and I think that it might be, universal, like this, just like this very intense longing that I would get for like my partner or the person I was like trying to date or whatever, who like didn't live near me. And it just like, it really amplified everything. And then like, it really gave like some rosy glasses for me to look through when we were together, if that makes sense. It's like that whole like absence making the heart get horny and stuff. Like there was a time when like we would see each other like maybe once every 2 months or something, right? And then like when we did, it was like this perfect like vacation, like honeymoon style thing. And then that kept me going until the next time we were going to hang out. And I think that that's pretty much like what everyone has to do, right? Like, you know, like if you're dating someone who doesn't live with you or around you or whatever, like I say, like you have to carve out time. So maybe that's like, all right, like every night at 8 o'clock, like we talk on the phone, or like we fucking now, you know what I mean? Like we fucking Snapchat, or we fucking like do like FaceTime bullshit. You know what I mean? Like we have to make time for each other because like, you know, like I love you. I miss you. I want to know what's up. Like I want to have this connection with you, but you're not physically here. So it's not like you can just come over, or like I see you after work, or we have dinner together, whatever the fuck. Like we really have to like put in more effort than local people in order to, you know, to move this shit along or to keep this shit going. You know, and there is like this like tortured beauty, I think, in like a long distance thing, or like being away from your partner in general, you know. But like when you guys don't live in the same place, especially like if it's a different time zone, like there's just so much coordination that needs to, you know, go on in order for like the relationship to sustain itself. And then like, you know, like it's really fucking tough, like not being around the person who you have feelings for. Like, and that was a big stressor for me in my past relationships that like were non-local, you know, because it's like, what if that person doesn't call you when they're supposed to? Or like, if you get jealous about them like going out with their friends, or like if you know, go out and party and they get jealous of you and then you guys get into a fight, like, you know what I mean? Like there's all these different things that come into play. There's all these like unknowns, and it takes a whole lot of like trust and understanding and like affection, honestly, to be able to maintain like a relationship that has so many like question marks, right? And I guess now it's like a little easier to not like track your partner, but you know what I mean? Like your phone's in your fucking pocket, you can text whenever the fuck you want. But like before that was a fucking thing, like what I was used to, like when I was doing, you know, long distance-y type of stuff, it was like you would get like these very short, intense bursts of like attention and communication, and then it would just be kind of like radio silence for a while, and then it would come back in, and then you go out and you go back in. And like, and it's fucking hard. Like it really is, like it's difficult to like to live in that zone. It takes a lot of effort. And so like when people do it, and people do it for a long time, like I find it very commendable, if I'm being like if I'm being honest. Like if you have like the wherewithal and the patience and like the discipline, honestly, to date someone who isn't around, like that's fucking crazy, you know. And obviously like the intimacy, like the physical intimacy is a huge fucking issue, not issue, but you know, a part of it, right? Because like people fuck, like people like to have sex, people do that, you do that with your partner, right? I understand I'm over generalizing and everybody likes different shit, but for the sake of this argument, or this, you know, this fucking episode, like fucking is a part of a relationship. And then if you guys aren't in the same place, like it complicates things a lot, because then it becomes a whole like, are you fucking other people? Are you not fucking other people? And then like, you know, like, do you trust your partner not to fuck other people for the next 2.5 months until you guys see each other? Or like, are you gonna be fucking like a jealous little baby and be like, oh, you were supposed to fucking call me at 9 and it's fucking midnight and I saw you post a picture where you're like out at the club, like who the fuck is this person? You know what I mean? Like that shit can creep up on you real fucking quick. And it has for me, like, and you know, I'm not proud of it, but I'm human and it fucking happens. And it's hard, like it really is hard to navigate all that different stuff. And so I'm curious to, you know, to sort of like pick people's brains when they say that they are in a long distance relationship, especially if they're like older and it's like a serious relationship. I have a family member who like was dating his, you know, partner and then spouse for like, I think it was like 2 or 3 fucking years, like long distance and shit. And they would, you know, like they would travel back and forth every couple weeks for like a couple days. And like it worked out for them, like they're doing great. But like I couldn't do it when it was easy for me to do it as like a young man. Like when I was in fucking college and I didn't really have much responsibility, like, you know, all I did was fucking fuck off and get fucked up. But like I had this fucking sweetheart in another fucking time zone, and it was fucking hard. Like it was really difficult to maintain like a social life. And then if an opportunity would arise Like, you know, if someone's like, hey, what's up? You know, in like a intimate way, in a sexy way, in a whatever way, like you got to be like, oh no, I have a girlfriend, but like they don't live here, you know? And it sucks. Like it makes you feel a lot of like emotions and a lot of things that like you wouldn't have to deal with if your partner lived in the same fucking area as you know? If you could just pick up the phone and be like, hey, what's up, babe? Like, let's go get fucking drinks. Let's go to so-and-so's house. Let's go see a movie. Like, you know, like that's very easy. It's very chill, but it's very hard to maintain like a relationship when you're not around each other. Like it's hard to maintain intimacy. It's hard to maintain interest. It's hard to maintain, you know, communication and attention and like all this stuff that like a relationship fucking needs. You know, let's be honest. Like that's what fucking dating someone is like. That's like what being engaged is, right? Is you're sharing your fucking life with someone. You're sharing your everything with someone. And I fuck with that. I think it's fucking dope. But it's hard to do that when the other person isn't around, you know, and they're through email or they're through the phone. You know what I mean? Like it's just fucking tough. Like it's tough to feel. I found it tough to feel like I had a partner at times when they weren't around, you know? And then like, it's hard to do normal couple stuff, like socially between the two of y'all when you guys aren't around each other. Mainly like it's hard to fucking like fight and make up and just like communicate in general, honestly, when you're not in the same fucking area, right? Some of the worst fights I've ever had with partners or romantic interests or whatever the fuck is the dumbest shit, but just like over the fucking phone, and then it just like blows up, and then it's all this calling back and hanging up and not answering the fucking phone and blah blah blah. And you know what I mean? Like just like it can get like everybody fucking fights, but like if you're in the same fucking spot, like you can kind of like work things out easy, kind of, you know what I mean? Like obviously everybody's different and shit can pop off fucking quick, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like if you're fucking living with your partner, or your partner lives in the same fucking place and y'all fight, like it's okay because it's just like what you do, and then you can like read body language and you can fucking touch and hug and comfort, right? But then like if it's over the fucking phone, you just like, that's not a fucking option, and then you have to find new ways to comfort them or to reassure them or to apologize or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? And it's fucking hard. Like it is hard. And like having fucking like phone sex and like internet sex stuff, like it's cool. Like it's a necessity when you're in that situation, but like that shit fucking sucks. You know what I mean? And it's just like, it's not my ideal situation having a long distance partner, but it definitely is something that happens. You know, you can't really pick who you're interested in. And now like with the internet, like it's become very easy and pretty painless, honestly, to find someone wherever the fuck in the world and be like, hey, like you want to be my fucking boyfriend? And now you have a boyfriend that lives in fucking Argentina or in Austin or in the county next to yours. You know what I mean? Like it, but you can do so much stuff to where like it feels like you guys are in the same room, or it feels like you guys are physically close, but then you realize like, fuck, like I can't hold your hand. You know what I mean? I had a bad day at work. You can't come over. I found a new recipe. You can't fucking eat this with me. You know what I mean? And so like you build up like this fantasy or like this idea of who your partner is based off of like whatever interactions you can have, you know, due to your circumstances. And it's like it really is like, it creates a very interesting dynamic that is very personal, but also I feel like there's a lot of through lines with everyone's long distance relationships that like, I don't know, like it's pretty, there are like some universal traits to being with someone who isn't around, you know, but obviously like people deal with the hurdles in their own ways, in their own creative ways. And I find that very cool. Like anytime I run across someone who is, you know, doing a long distance thing, I really like to pick their brain, like I said, and really, you know, really figure out like what the fuck they're doing and how they're making it work and stuff like that, because like I find it very interesting. And so my dear listener, if you want to tell me about some of your shit with dating people long distance, I would love to hear it. Like I really fucking would. I I didn't want to get too fucking personal with it because, like, I think that some of the people who I would be talking about, like, listen to the show, and I didn't really clear it with them beforehand, and I'm trying not to dox people or, you know, talk about people without kind of clearing it with them first. But I've done it for a while. You know, I did it for a while. And it was cool. You know what I mean? It was cool. I wouldn't go out looking for it again, honestly. But like, it ended up being cool. I have a lot of good stories. I have a lot of fun stories of, you know, driving for 6, 7, 8 hours on a whim when I'm in a bad mood, or when they're in a bad mood, or when something happens, to go comfort them. You know, there's nothing better romantic. Like there's nothing more romantic. Well, there's very few things more romantic than just, like, you know, waiting up all night for them to get in. You know what I mean? Picking your partner up from the airport is fucking awesome. It's soul crushing when they leave. You know, like, some of the loneliest drives I've ever had was leaving their house, you know what I mean? And then going back to the real world, or getting dropped off at the fucking airport and then having to come back to the real world. Like, it really forces you to explore, like, the extremes of your emotional boundaries, your emotional range, I guess, when you're dealing with long distance stuff, you know, because there's no subtlety, right? Like, it's very intense. It's a very, very intense thing. And it, you know, I know people who really like it and prefer it. I don't see things that way, but, like, I get it, I guess. But, like, for me personally, like, it was cool. I got a lot of cool stories out of it. I made lifelong relationships because of it, you know what I mean? Like, long distance stuff. And I learned a lot about myself and how I deal with things, some things that I'm not very proud of and have had to work on and continue to work on, you know what I mean? And other stuff where I was surprised that I was able to do a lot of things, or you know, withstand a lot of stuff. It really tests a lot of your patience and your understanding and all that stuff. It kind of forces you to grow up, honestly, when you date someone who isn't around, you know. You have to think creatively in order to solve the problems that are thrown at you. Because, again, you can't just go over and give them a kiss and tell them things are going to be okay, because they're not around. But yeah, that's the episode. If you like the show, please like and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. That's, like, the best official way to help the show, and it really would help the show if you did fucking 2-second break from whatever the fuck you're doing and rate us. Yeah, also tell your friends. People have been doing that. We've been getting more listeners, which is fucking cool. Continue to do that. We really appreciate it. You can find The Hatening on all social media platforms. Pretty active on there. From there, you can find the profiles for myself and Andrew. Hit us up. Yeah, I mean, take care of yourself and the people around you, and don't forget to tell your friends you love them.